And now we invite the Member of Parliament for Etobicoke Centre, Yvan Baker, to give some remarks.
Slava Ukraini. My name is Yvan Baker. I'm the Member of Parliament for Etobicoke Centre, and I chair the Canada-Ukraine Parliamentary Friendship Group, which is the group of parliamentarians, MPs, and senators from all parties who work to support Ukraine. And I'm pleased to acknowledge a few of the parliamentarians who I see here. I apologize if I miss any. I see Senator Kucher here in the room. James Bazan, one of our vice chairs of the Friendship Group, is in the room. I know former member Wayne Easter is here in the room. Good to see you. Thank you all for being here and for your support of Ukraine. I also want to thank the Canada-Ukraine Chamber of Commerce for organizing this Rebuild Conference every year. And I bring you greetings on behalf of Prime Minister Trudeau, Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland, and our entire caucus. I know the focus of this conference is going to be Ukraine's rebuild, and rightly so. But I want to speak briefly about the broader war for a moment. As we speak, the Ukrainian people are showing tremendous courage despite being outmanned and outgunned. They're showing tremendous courage in defending their homeland. And notwithstanding their courage and resolve, the situation in Ukraine is dire, and this war is having global consequences. We know that the situation on the front line is very difficult. We know that Russia is committing genocide every day. We know that millions of Ukrainians have been displaced and are refugees, whether that's within Ukraine or around the world. Some are here in Canada. And we know that this war poses an existential threat to global security and to Canada's security. A couple of weeks ago, we commemorated 1,000 days since Russia's further invasion of Ukraine. This is much longer than the 3 days Vladimir Putin thought it would take to conquer Ukraine, but it's 1,000 days too long. It should have never happened, and when it happened, it shouldn't have lasted this long. Our government has said, our Prime Minister has said that Ukraine's victory is the only option, that we'll stand with the Ukrainian people until they win. Just a couple of weeks ago, Prime Minister Trudeau was at the G20 and was asked about this, and about the war, and about the changing political climate. And he said that our focus is getting support to Ukraine, that Ukraine needs to win the war. So that's where Canada's focus is today, and will continue to be. It's not often that the right thing to do is also the expedient thing to do, but in this case it is. Helping Ukraine win, regain all its territory, regain its sovereignty, regain its freedom, regain its security. It's not just the right thing to do or the moral thing to do, but it's the right thing for Canada. Because Ukraine's victory is vital to our security. If Russia wins, Europe, Americans, Europeans, and Canadians, our brothers and sisters and sons and daughters, will be next in defending ourselves against Russian aggression. Whether that's in Europe with our NATO allies, whether that's in the Canadian Arctic, or whether that's somewhere else. So our government understands this, and that's one of the reasons that Canada has been a global leader in supporting Ukraine, with about $20 billion of military, financial, humanitarian, economic, and other support. A year ago, we passed and ratified the Canada-Ukraine Free Trade Agreement to help support Ukraine's economy, but also to help Ukraine rebuild. And we've played a leading role in the securing of Russian state assets for the purposes of helping to rebuild Ukraine, and much more. And these steps are significant, but they won't be enough until Ukraine regains its freedom, its security, and its territorial integrity. So that means that Ukraine must regain every inch of its territory, but also means that we have to ensure that Ukraine wins the peace, that Ukraine is secure as a member of NATO, that we secure reparations from Russia, that there is justice for Russian war crimes, and that we help Ukraine rebuild, and much, much more. That's why you are all here today, to focus on how we can help Ukraine rebuild. So no matter what the challenges in the weeks and the months to come, I would ask all of us to commit that we will continue to work until we achieve that goal, until we rebuild Ukraine, until we rebuild all of Ukraine. And if we achieve that goal, then we can stop commemorating 1,000 days of Ukrainian courage and suffering and 1,000 days, frankly, of history repeating itself, and instead start commemorating the days since Ukraine regained its security and its freedom and its territorial integrity, and as Canadians, since we regained ours. Thank you very much for having me. I wish you a successful conference. Slava Ukraini!